And then we hit this button here, we swap on over, and we got to get some book go. No, I know I'm muted. I didn't do my intro yet. Silence! I kill you. Alrighty, hello internet. This is Fanfiction Contempt Theater 9003. And Max Horse will not be joining us because he has found out that he is actually a pussy. And has decided to explore this new side of himself. Jeff Dunham really sneaky. Hey man, you know old Jeff Dunham was funny. I haven't, done recent Jeff Dunham, but old Jeff Dunham was funny, ish, sort of, usually.
Once upon a magical time, Jeff Dunham was funny.
I don't know the stuff he does nowadays. I really don't pay too much attention to comedians. I think the last comedy special I watched was the Dave Chappelle one.
Last comedy special I watched was
with the Netflix special.
It was
for
the
Dave
dude
Chappelle.
who played Spider-Ham in Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh really? That's
the last one I watched.
But I mean, yeah, no,
not even joke. Because I was like, oh shit, right? This dude, because I'd seen some of the dude's stuff before, hadn't watched any of his stuff, and then I was like, they made him Spider-Ham, and I was like, oh yeah, he's actually pretty funny.
Yeah, so it was Dave Chappelle, and then before that, it was back in like 2014, it was Bo Burnham.
Oh yeah, the guy who's like the living embodiment of truck nuts.
What do you mean by that?
Isn't he the super southern dude?
No, this guy is the one who's one of my personal favorite comedy special of his is called What? And he just he kind of goes with the absurdism, I'm so random humor, but then like changes it into like an actually funny joke at the end.
Like so it starts out as a shit post.
Yeah, one of his jokes that I'm remembering off the top of my head is that he's making fun of pop songs, of like 2014 pop songs, where it's like some pretty guy going, I love you, insert girl here, I love the way that your eyes look like eyes, and the way that your arms are arms. And you know how these, only like Justin Bieber and etc., who were the really popular people at the time, were kind of like singing all these love songs that all the girls were totally into listening to, because the way they phrased the songs, it made it sound like Justin Bieber was in love with them.
Yep.
Yeah, and then he'd like, and then right like I would say the midway mark into this like mocking song, he just goes full shit post like satanic cult time with it. It's actually pretty good. Yeah, Bo Burnham. Yeah, original YouTuber. Yeah, no, I'm not surprised by that. He definitely has the YouTube poop feel for comedy. Oh Christ! Before that, that in the past, well, I would say in the past 7 years. I've only watched one thing from Bo Burnham and that one thing from Dave Chappelle. I don't watch too many comedians. Bill Burr is good.
Honestly, Bill Burr's just an edgy prick.
Yeah, Bill Burr is just edgy.
Which doesn't mean he isn't occasionally
I'm not
funny.
saying he's bad or no. Yeah, I mean I'm just edgy, and I'm occasionally can make a joke that people sort of laugh at.
Sometimes.
Possible. Could happen. But we have all heard the coughing sounds of a Max horse in the background. So Max, before we get this podcast on the rails, do you have any preference for comedians? Oh, Bill Wirtz, but yeah, no, but he's not like a... Is he a comedian? Like, I know he does YouTube stuff. Bill Wirtz? The guy who does, like, the history of the world, I guess?
Oh, I mean,
Is he a
he
comedian?
produces comedic stuff.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like getting up on a stage and being like joke times, guys. Gabriel Iglesias. I remember watching a special from him
He
back in
was
like 2010.
okay.
He kind of has a lot
I
of the
remember he was
same
big for like a
jokes.
year or two,
Yeah,
fell off the map for like 6 years, and then suddenly he had a Netflix special.
yeah. He just makes a lot of jokes about how he's fat and Mexican. And it's like, yeah, it's some of them are pretty good, but
And how that's slowly killing him.
well, yes. Bill Wirtz is a comedian. He's not a stand-up comedian. I'm talking about mostly stand-up comedians.
I would say we are by no means contesting the man as a comedian.
Yeah. I will say though, I did when I went to Las Vegas one time. I went into this. It was called like the Underground Comedy Special, and literally it was a back room of one of the main theaters in the mall. Um, maybe seating for 30 to 50 people in it. They fucking had fold out chairs. It wasn't even like an actual like setup place. It was like, oh, we have this storage room. I guess we can rent this out to these comedians because it was like 5 or so comedians that got together to do this like, you've never heard of us, but here, listen to our jokes.
No, I mean, listen, I get it, stuff like that's important, right? It's like the tier 2 Dota scene.
But I remember one guy distinctly because uh obviously they give the caveat this is A, Las Vegas, B, an adult comedy special, so there's lots of non-PC stuff going on.
Don't bring
Do not bring your children to this. But like literally his entire act was just racial jokes, and I mean across the rainbow racial jokes.
okay, like actually funny ones or
Oh,
just
hilarious. Across the board, all of them were great. Like, he made fun of literally everyone. It was great. But there was this one moment where, he's telling the Asian joke, he's telling the white joke, he's telling the Mexican joke, he told the Filipino joke, and then he gets to the black joke, and he goes, oh, these people up here, this black couple up here, they were laughing at all my other ones, but I get to the black joke, and suddenly I'm not funny anymore. But he's black himself. But no, it was honestly it was a good one. That was a pretty good one. I couldn't tell you a single one of those jokes, and not only because of the Twitch standards that I would undoubtedly break doing so, but also because
violate the hell out of.
I was fucking wasted. So I don't remember a single one of those jokes. Of course, you're in Vegas, you kind of have to be wasted.
I mean, yes.
But that is neither here nor there, because you folks have not come to hear about my misadventures of life. You have come to read fan fiction.
I'm pretty sure your fucked up stories in life.
I mean,
and about the time you
wouldn't
seduced an
that.
entire WoW server. See, by the way, we're just gonna make it more and more. First, it's gonna start out as you tricked him for a year. Then it's gonna be you tricked him for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Then it's gonna be you seduced the server.
Okay, well, you say that, but I did have people give me stuff because I was the popular female troll of trade.
I'm aware. That's part of what makes it funny.
It's painful.
But the real, the real joke will come several years down the line when you're not expecting it.
Oh, I'm sure it will. And then I'll just pull out a gun and shoot you in Minecraft.
Please. You live in Vermont. You can't buy a gun. You can't even buy a butter knife. He says, knowing that Vermont has some of the most hilariously lax gun laws.
There's gun laws in Vermont?
They do nominally exist in that the
This
gun
is
law
news
says,
to me.
Yes.
So, I'm actually going to put the vote up to the audience. If you have a little star next to your name, you get to pick our next story. So, we got a Bleach fanfic that looks edgy as hell. We got a choice of a magical Fallout Girl prologue Fallout fanfic. We got some, let's see what else we could do here. Fallout My Hero Academia. We got some Fate Stay Night Don Machi. Some Familiar of Zero Crisis crossover.
I need you to
does
stop
that-
saying words.
That's like putting Master Chief in there. Just GG.
What was the Don Machi one?
Which one?
What was the Don Machi one?
Fate Stay Night Don Machi.
God.
Crimson
That's such a bad
Sword
idea.
King. Where's Crimson Sword King on this list here? I don't see Crimson Sword King.
That's just.
I vote for the Familiar of Zero Crisis crossover. Okay, so we got 2 for Crisis. Alright, I guess we're going with Crisis then. Unless anyone objects, we got going once. Going twice.
I'm already filled with self-hatred.
Waiting
so.
30 seconds.
Because we remembered that we're on a delay. Whoops.
Well, wait, we shouldn't have a delay, though. Because I disabled it. But apparently Twitch is just like, we have decided, the High Council has come to a decision. You may use the features today, but not Friday.
You may use the features every third month. That's it. Fuck you.
Alright, so Crisis,
I was gonna
Familiar
go
of
with
Zero.
something stupid like every third Tuesday of the month, but I was like, you know what? Nah.
Every third Tuesday of the month that ends in Y.
Yes.
Alright, as always, you can find the link to the fanfics we cover in the Discord in case you wish to follow along. But under no circumstances are you to contact the author of these fanfics unless you wish to give constructive review of their stories, as otherwise
Honestly,
that is considered
just don't even
harassment.
talk to them. They don't exist. They're figments of your fucking imagination.
Indeed. So this is a Familiar of Zero Crisis crossover called The Crisis in Halkaganiania. This is a version 2 story.
Oh, I love these. They're always so shit.
Rewrite of the Suit of Zero. The Nanosuit, the most advanced piece of military hardware ever created. Now in the hands of a 16-year-old girl who had never felt the power she does now. Welcome to the future, Luis. Welcome to war. AU. It's listed as a fantasy adventure story with a M rating. The main characters listed were Luis, Kirchi, Tabitha, and Siesta. Meanwhile, it's got 22 chapters at roughly looking like, let's see here. 5. Oh, so what would you say the max? So 7 to 8K words?
What is it? 175 and 22?
Yeah.
About that, yeah. A little over 8K on average, I think.
Yeah. Only, however, it's only got a whopping 154 favorites. That is, not doing too hot. Anyway. Here we are again. I have been wanting to do a rewrite of this story for a while now. As the first few chapters are weak, and don't stand up to the level of quality I want for my work. Author, I have some
Okay,
bad news for you.
hold on. Bets on horrible grammar errors?
Okay, you know what? Let's see. This story is great, amazing. What? Fix sucks
No, come on,
ass.
Sneaky. You
Delete
can't go
it.
through the reviews before you bet. That's
Filthy
cheating.
Louis sympathizer. What? Filthy Louis sympathizer.
What? Could I get some clarifications there?
It's a guest review.
No.
What does Louise sympathizer mean?
I don't know.
I have so many questions, and I feel that I shall never receive an answer.
You won't. Alright, you know what? It's gonna be difficult. It's gonna be too hard. I'll have a tally up next time. But, no, I don't think we're gonna have bad grammar. I think we're gonna have awkward tensing. I think there's gonna be some really cringe character, portrayals. And they're going to fuck up at least one thing about guns.
Oh, don't forget, they're gonna have absolutely no clue how to write these characters, but that's okay because it's an AU.
Possible. Max, do you have any opinions before we start?
Not particularly, no.
Okay.
I mean, I'm going to be honest, part of the reason I'm always so quiet is because you guys usually cover everything.
A powerful familiar. A simple animal that was powerful enough to protect her in these uncertain times. It was what was expected of her. It was what both her mother and her father wanted from her. Also, what I really don't understand about this whole, like, I'm gonna summon the nanosuit thing, is it needs to have some level of autonomy to it. Right? Like, you can't, like, because, like, if the nanosuit can be summoned, can a chair be summoned? Can a table be summoned? Like, oh, your familiar's this fucking table. Oh,
Your familiar's a table.
If the table has some sort of sentience, presumably yes.
I mean, yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
Hold on. Does this mean that theoretically the suit from New Vegas could be summoned?
That would be amusing. My familiar
God.
is this spoon.
Oh, yeah, it had that, didn't it? It did have.
It had sentience.
The nanosuit had an AI?
A fully sentient AI.
Okay, alright then. Then the nanosuit can be summoned.
Yeah, no, it was
Alright.
it was a fully realized, self-aware AI.
Fucking just shoot myself in the throat, I guess.
Because it would even ask questions like, "Do you love me?"
Wait, what?
Do you not remember the suit talking to you?
I didn't play Crisis.
No, New Vegas.
Oh, New Vegas. You know, I know that suit's got an advanced AI. We're talking about the nanosuit.
Yes, I said, could the New Vegas suit be some? Because I was
that
has an AI. Could
honestly,
that be
I
summoned?
believe that. Yeah, I believe that. Oh, that poor suit. It was so happy when I got upgrades for it, and then I never wore it again.
That's why I downloaded a mod to give it Riot Armor DR, because I was like, I like this thing and I want to wear it.
No, actually, the reason why I didn't wear the stealth suit is because back
It was a terrible stealth suit that said things like, "Shh, we're sneaking."
No, I love that actually.
Thought that was I thought that was just a gun in Borderlands. I don't remember it ever doing that for some reason.
Yeah, no, it's
it
Fallout New Vegas, Old World Blues endgame content. Stealth suit. It's actually really great. I love it. It even like gives you stim packs when you're low HP.
To be adorable.
Yeah, but it also gives you stim packs when you are at low HP. However, there is a minor issue with the code involved with the stim pack giving. where it can either accidentally use all of your stim packs simultaneously because it doesn't pause after using a stim pack to see if you're still at low HP, or it can glitch the game and give you negative health, killing you instantly whenever you hit a certain threshold.
Which is great because there are mods that fix that.
Well, yeah, but again, I played this
that fixes
originally on the
another
Xbox.
super important bug that thing had, which was that the stim packs didn't benefit from your medicine skill.
Yeah.
So when you might be used to a stim pack, one stim pack healing you for all of your HP.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there was quite a few bugs.
New Vegas? Bugs? No.
Thanks, Basolis. But yeah, so now that we have established that the nanosuit is intelligent enough to be considered sentient, right? Is sapience is self-awareness, while sentience is awareness.
Fuck if I know.
I believe that's how it goes. Laughs and
Man, I
Fallout
barely remember what I
76.
had for breakfast. You think I qualify as sentient?
No.
That's a good answer. I probably don't.
Do you know the definition of insanity?
It's
God,
what I look into every morning.
I fucking hate that became such a meme because all the fucking normies played Far Cry 3 and they're like, oh man, do you know the definition of insanity? Like, oh my god.
Do you know and they're doing a shitty Voss impression too.
Oh my god. School was terrible around that time because fucking everyone was doing that quote. It's like, I want to stab you all. We don't pay attention to Fallout 76. That doesn't exist.
Oh, it exists. It exists as a monument to all our sins.
Anyway, yeah, no, actually, though, but yes. So, we got the wave of sickness and civil unrest that consumed the floating island that neighborhood, their home country of Tristane, was something that was on the minds of every high-ranking noble in the lands.
By the way, I will say that one thing that I always did like about Familiar of Zero is how for the first, half of the show, there's just a fucking Fire Emblem game going on in the middle of my high school anime.
I don't even play Fire Emblem and I still get that.
I mean, that's all it is.
God, I hate it because you're right. It was because of this that she put extra work in learning the summoning, how to make the summoning circle in order to... But this is another thing I don't quite get, Max. You've read the light novel, manga, and anime, right?
I've only read the manga and I've watched the anime.
Okay, because as far as I remember, because I have read the light novel, I never read the manga though. As far as I remember, the summoning circle was a circle that was embedded in the land. That wasn't something the students drew.
Actually, I think Colbert drew it for them.
The point is, it's not something they needed to learn.
Oh, it's not something they would be capable of at the time.
Yeah, I don't think that sounds like advanced magical theory, considering that it reaches.
Pretty sure...
Hey kids, learn how to open a bridge across not just a world.
The world, time and space.
Minimum triangle or maybe line to do it.
I have no idea.
I'm sorry. What did you just say?
The mages are split into what was
dot,
it? Point,
line,
triangle, square, so on and so forth.
Pentagram. But yeah, no, I just don't remember. I see this very commonly in certain time periods of the Familiar of Zero fanfic, where it's like fics written in between this year and this year generally all had Luis, for some reason, learning the summoning circle in a very special way that was different from everyone else. And, that's why she summoned Master Chief instead of, Pedro.
She learned how to do it special.
Yeah.
Never mind the fact that they're not doing it in the slightest. And that even if she did do it, it would almost certainly result in an explosion.
Yeah, I just. Also, no, the whole reason why the summoning circle actually ended up working for Luis, even partially, is because of its void nature. Because it does reach across time and space to acquire a familiar.
So wait, why can normal people use it then? I've never.
Again, because it was the mage was like, "Yo, skedaddle, skadoodle, this circle can now be used." And yeah,
And then it could.
he was very big brain and super duper smart and made up a ritual circle that allowed for non-void mages to use void magic to summon a familiar.
Because that's not a bad idea at all. Hey, these people, we could summon first of all, sentient human beings and or other creatures.
Only void
B,
mages are capable of summoning humans and shit.
Are they the only ones capable of summoning sentient things or humans specifically?
Well, no, because Tabitha, the quiet Caillou Daring, blue-haired, she summons a dragon that is capable of talking and has self-awareness.
It's true.
So it's not so much limited to terms of creatures being summoned. But humans cannot be summoned unless you're a void mage because reasons.
Right.
But yeah. So let's keep going.
Regardless, terrible idea.
Sneaky is beyond chat interaction. I mean, what do you want me to say? You guys are talking about seasons and how Pedro lives in a mud hut. I don't really know what you want me to.
We got
input
nothing
here.
to go off of there.
Anyway, powerful beasts and blah blah blah. Currently, the petite pink-haired mage known as Luis de la Valerie was currently sitting on her large, luxurious bed as she gazed at the two items she had summoned today. The first was a bow. Can Void Mage summon other Void Mages?
Mm,
I don't think they ever touched on that one.
They never touched on that, yeah.
Probably for a good reason. Oh god. See, now I'm imagining a really something it's set 50 years, 100 years down the line after Louise. There's two
Hi,
void
Birdie,
mages.
nice to see you.
Nobody knows that they're void mages. One of them performs the summoning and some kid gets moved 10 feet from the back of the room into the summoning circle. Kicks off existential crisis. How do you? Oh God, can you imagine being the professor who has to write that letter? Dear noble family, I regret to inform you that your child has become property.
I don't see that going over well.
No.
Holy
That's
shit,
like
somebody
very
fucking clip that.
They used a cheerful limerick. Hippity hoppity, your child's property.
I was thinking Luis summoning the founder. Well,
the founder's dead, so that would raise a lot of questions.
yeah, but the summoning goes across time and space.
I thought it only goes across space. I don't think it goes across time. Actually, I don't. Well, okay. This requires some really dumb theory crafting.
So while Max does that, I've been reading Stephen King's book about writing, and it's very good. Honestly, I think Stephen King is an exceedingly mediocre author with really shit opinions outside of writing. So that's just me. But then again, I'm not a prolific author with hundreds of thousands of dollars underneath my.
Okay.
So, that's just my hot take.
I don't think it goes across space and time. Because there seems to be a roughly equivalent amount of time that passes between each world.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember, the World War II plane was there, and like, oh yeah, that was like 50 or 60 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
My granddad fell from that plane. It's like, oh, well, that's when World War II happened. So, not really sure. Um, you'd have to do some real fuckery with multiverse and multi-timeline theory.
His third
But
foreword, his editors are always right, so I like the book. I mean that's not an incorrect opinion. I will give him credit for that one. Writers typically don't know shit. As so very often can be found in the writing section on some of the discords I'm in, where the author will come forward and be like, "Yo, I got this idea," and then they just keep going and going and going. I'm like, "Okay, yeah, this idea is cool and all, buddy, but how are you planning on writing this? Because this sounds like a 29 book series, and you want to fit it all into the first chapter."
Have you considered scaling it down just a wee bit?
Aura can tell you guys all about how often I rag on him, because he's like, "Oh, well, I want to write a Madoka fic." I'm like, "Okay."
Oh, good. I've been clipped, Sneaky.
Yeah, good. And he's like, "Oh, I want to write a Madoka fic." I'm like, "Okay." He's like, "Oh, well, currently I'm trying to fit Sinfo Gear into it." I'm like, "Oh."
That's a bad idea. Why would you?
Okay.
Why would you combine those?
All right, if you
I
insist.
mean, you can.
And then, like 3 days later, he's like, "All right, now I'm trying to fit Bloodborne into." I'm like, "What the fuck are you
Oh,
doing?"
Jesus, that sounds like a
You
terrible idea.
tell him to stop.
Oh, constantly. I tell him to fucking cease and desist.
You tell him to stop it. Cause holy shit.
Kishimoto's editor told him to make Sasuke editors are bad. Excuse you, Basolis. Do you see how fucking popular Sasuke is and how much money he brings in?
That doesn't mean he's not bad.
No, but it makes a successful story. Which is
Yes.
the editor's job.
Yeah. That's true. I was gonna say, I mean, part of
The
me wonders,
editor's job is not there to make your story good. Their job is to make your story successful.
Yes. Well, and readable.
That's part of the success part.
Oh, come on. Fanfiction.net proves that's a lie.
Fanfiction.net doesn't have editors.
Yeah, I know, but it doesn't have to be readable to be successful, is what I'm saying. Anyway, point is, I wonder if the reason we get so many light novels that are so fucking boring and the same is because they're like pop songs in America, right?
They are. Literally.
They have the
Remember, kids,
formula,
it doesn't
or
matter if
whatever
it's
it is.
good, only that it makes money. I mean, yeah, pretty much that's true. Because the thing is there's a lot of good games. There's a lot of good movies. There is a lot of good books out there that are just fucking so unknown that I could used to be able to list off of maybe 70 or so books that I've read, fantasy, sci-fis, and
Etc.
the standard mainstream person who goes to the, back when going to Barnes and Noble and Borders was a thing you did.
Oh, those were good days.
The standard person would be like, What's that? And I'd be like, it's literally on the shelf right behind you. What? Oh, I've never seen that before. I'm like, it's like a 9-part book series. Like, never heard of it. And they were good books. They weren't successful ones. But
meanwhile, you have stuff like the Hunger Games.
Well,
getting
no,
readers.
an even better example of good versus successful.
Yeah.
Remember that #1 best-selling women's book about a girl being kidnapped and abused by a rich white guy?
But it's okay because he gave her a mansion.
Yes, and he was rich and very handsome.
I mean, to be fair, I think most people would put up with quite a bit if a handsome rich guy took them off and gave them a mansion and was like, look, from 9 to 5, you're bent over. From 9 p.m. to 5 p.m., you're bent over. Every other day, all the rest of the time, do whatever you want. Yeah. Here's 10 grand a day.
Yeah, you know who most of those people would be at?
Who?
Women.
Yeah, gee, it's almost like it was targeted at a specific audience. Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
9 p.m. to 5 p.m. Yes. Anyway, so back to this. I can't even call it a garbage heap yet because we basically have nothing established. Anyway, so she summons a fucking bow, and it uses pulleys and shit. It's the crisis bow. Everyone knows the crisis bow. The other thing, and weirdest of all, it was a suit of armor?
I don't think they'd even know it was a suit of armor. Like...
No. If you see a full-body costume that has metal-like coverings, even a peasant would be like, that's just a really fucking weird suit of armor. How do you move in that?
How do you breathe?
I call for a crusade. Crusades can happen.
What the fuck is going on in our chat, Sneaky?
I don't know. I don't bother.
Solus and C8 are just going at it for some reason.
You know what? If that makes the chat active, that makes the chat active. So anyway, we got here the weirdest. I told you there was gonna be some awkward fucking sentences going on here. The other thing and weirdest of all was a suit of armor. Why is it? How is that a question? Hey, look at that cat over there!
No, the question is, Sneaky, that it's supposed to be implying the question is, suit of armor? Question mark?
Well, yeah, that's why you need commas and shit.
Well, yes.
At least that's what she thought it was. It was black and silver, with black being a material.
Interesting. I knew black. I knew we had different shades of black, including a black so black that it absorbs. No, actually, we have 2 shades of black so black that they absorb almost all light emitted around them.
Huh.
They're wrapped around the body, much like one's muscles.
By the way, I want to point something out. My favorite thing about that entire story is, because this is sneaky levels of spite.
Well,
some super famous artist made this
that
color
story,
of black,
yeah.
this super dark black, and he charges people absurd amounts of money for it. So some other artist went, wow, fuck this dude, and he put in a bunch of time, money, and effort to make an actually even blacker black than the other guy, and was like, literally anyone can have this for free except this dude. And if I find out that you've been giving it to this dude, you don't get to get it either. Fuck you. And it's beautiful.
You forgot the other part of that. Where the first guy's black is highly toxic and poisonous and very expensive to make. while
Yeah.
the second dude's black is inexpensive and non-toxic.
Yeah, that too. So there's not even a reason to buy the name brand. Well, this one you have to have a hazmat suit to work with and will cost you your left testicle.
Jesus Christ, Isley.
Oh, I saw that. I was trying to just gloss over it.
I'm just gonna keep moving. Just gonna keep moving. Just gonna keep moving. The silver, on the other hand, was used for the metal that intersected the body. I don't think you are using words that you think you're using.
Anyway, yeah.
The helmet was the same, but had red. It had the good hurt.
Pain. Oh God.
Oh, it's the wrong. It's the wrong.
It has the good hurt. I kind of honestly want to see Borderlands Bandit Luis.
I mean, Luis summons Krieg?
No, she gets the first summon into Borderlands.
Oh, okay. Because I was thinking it'd be fun for her to summon Krieg.
She would just be like, shut up, creature, and then explode him. It's the good hurt. Red pane of glass placed where slit of helmet should have been. What slit of helmet?
The slit of a normal helmet.
Like actual knight's armor.
You like the...
There are versions of those helmets that don't have the covering.
I'm aware. I'm just the how they phrase that is just really weird to me. The armor confused her the most. Wasn't we just talk? Pacing. Holy crap. Originally it looked as if it was made for a man taller than her. After Colbert forced her to seal the contract, the armor changed.
How did she see? What?
What?
How?
How did she?
How
what?
did he make her seal a contract with a suit of armor?
She kissed it.
I'm sorry.
She licked the armor a bit and then.
Is the AI in that armor adaptive?
No.
But in fact, I thought it was literally a neural interface.
It is now.
I thought it wasn't. Yeah, no, it's not AI. It's literally it's like bare bones AI to be like, hey, you're killing yourself, idiot. Stop it.
The armor was smaller now and fit her perfectly. And some people commented on how perfectly it fit her. Get it? Cause she flat.
Ha 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 ha.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm kind of 50-50 on how they make the female nanosuit armor. Because Shadversity actually brought up a very good point when it came to armor for women in terms of plate mail and whatnot, is that they pretty much just use the exact same armor with just a little bit more padding in certain areas. Because of the nature of the plate armor, it was already spacious due to how force...
It had to fit on people. And
well, not only that, because of how
the way momentum transfer works.
Yeah,
because they learned about that. I would just say they didn't. I would just say let's be clear here. They didn't fully grasp it, but they knew that wearing it too tightly was a terrible idea, especially once people started walking around with war hammers and war picks.
Yeah, it's like, oh. Also, I do love
how...
how...
We don't want that directly hugging his ribcage.
I also do love how how unaware and how much people base their knowledge off of video games. Where they're like, oh, well, when you wear plate, that's like all you wear. It's like, no, when you wear plate, you're also wearing chainmail underneath the plate, and underneath the chainmail, you're wearing leather, and you have a gambeson as well on top of the chainmail.
Well,
probably.
to be fair, that gambeson is less for additional armoring and more for a bunch of padding, so you don't bruise the
Well,
fuck out of
no,
yourself.
but the gambeson's also actually very important because it significantly slowed down the effects of piercing weapons.
No, I know it is. I'm just saying. Like,
yeah, I know.
Because as an example, when she was young, my mother was fairly.
Your mother wore
good at
plate mail?
Yes, plate mail. No, but she was fairly good at dancing. They did come on, Wizard of Oz, and she had to play the Tin Man.
Sure.
And they did not give her sufficient padding, but they did give her a metal costume.
Mm.
So by the time the show ended, she was bruised all to hell.
Yeah, yeah. Right,
yeah.
the chainmail goes over the gambeson, yeah. Yeah, no, the gambeson. Well, actually, it really depends, Pedro. The more the thicker versus the padded variants in terms of the stuffing used, in terms of the stitching used, it was very dependent on what the purpose of the gambeson was, and the amount of money you could spend on making one. But yeah,
because,
no, they were actually pretty effective.
I was gonna say,
Yeah,
even
no,
a basic cloth gambeson with fairly cheap padding, if it was designed as the purpose of armor,
yeah, it
it worked
actually,
great.
yeah, it was actually pretty good. And that is also why you would have large armies of levies where they were just, at best, they would have like maybe a leather vest and a gambeson.
Which turns out, when the other dude's an untrained peasant with a half-sharp pike, that's probably enough to keep you from getting seriously hurt. I
Question
mean,
mark?
it won't stop the gangrene, but hey, nobody could back then.
No one could. Not even the best doctors could stop it.
That's because the best doctors were like, there's ghosts in your blood. I'm going to have a leech get rid of it.
There's ghosts in your blood. The leech must drink it. It's been blessed by the Pope.
Oh boy.
It's a
But
holy
that
leech.
was a thing, Sneaky.
Holy leech! Oh, best doctor. Anyway, so, blah, 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 blah. She brought it all to her room. Although it saddened her that she only summoned a suit of armor, Colbert did praise her for the fact that she summoned 2 objects. Which, I guess it's fair. Normally you summon 1 thing, and this thing summoned 2. So
Also, if the armor had gone onto her, shouldn't she have immediately had a fucking HUD and a
No, she's not
user?
wearing it. No, she's not wearing it yet.
It didn't go on her.
Oh, I'm
just
sorry. It
appeared.
just changed size. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry. So blah blah blah. Armor sat on the hay. This armor wouldn't help her. It was a suit of armor. And what did that say about her? That the universe thought she needed a suit of armor. Flashes back to canon, Familiar of Zero. No, you know what, Luis? I think the universe is onto something.
I think it's trying to help you, kid.
I think the universe is onto something with that armor thing. Super Potatoes is being Dark Soulsy.
Yeah, I'll be back in a bit.
Alright, you do that.
See ya.
Did the universe see her as so much of a failure that it gave her a bow? Well, I mean, maybe the arrows explode. How much of like a fucking shit move would that be? Oh my god, all of my spells explode. I'm such a bad mage. Oh, you know what you need? You need a different way to attack people then. Here, have this bow. All of the arrows are secretly enchanted to also explode.
Boom. What's the get the bow from Breath of the Wild that causes your arrow to turn into 5 arrows?
Oh god. Anyway.
By the way, I think that was one of my favorite things about Breath of the Wild. It's like, so what do the good bows do? They magically duplicate your arrows.
Mo
What?
arrows, mo problems. Wow, you don't know JoJo? Yeah, no, I don't JoJo. The JoJo guy is not here, so we do not JoJo.
That is correct.
And no, that's not a JoJo reference.
Listen, I'm sure somehow it is a JoJo reference.
Probably. Anyway, so she gets a bow, and her anger came to a head when she tossed one of her pillow suit, causing it to slump. Okay.
What? Why is this important information?
Because she's angry, and the author wants everyone to know that she's angry. That she's
But
so angry that she threw
You
a
could just say
pillow
she
at
threw
Armor.
a pillow at it. Like,
Yeah. And then she's groaning into her bed. And, what kind of mage?
Just a side note, doesn't her mother wear armor into combat?
Yes,
Like
heavy
all
armor.
the actual
Plate, yeah.
warrior mages?
Like, very heavy plate, yeah.
And yet her professor told her to try it on to try and figure out what it could do, but one look at it and it seemed absurd. She was a noble. What good would it do to run around in a suit that looked like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, this is one of the things that's
using a
always
bow
annoyed
in
me.
combat is barbaric.
This is one of the things that's always annoyed me about people who write these, like, fan fictions for Familiar of Zero, right? The only reason the reactions for Familiar of Zero made sense was because even if, as we complained, it was a dude in really amazing clothes they'd never seen before, guess what? It was still just a guy.
Well, not only that, he looked foreign. Not only that, he also looked foreign. He didn't speak the local language. And of course, local European thought process is, oh, you can't even speak my civilized tongue, therefore you are lowly peasant.
Yes. Right? All of these things make sense because the ritual is you have no idea what you're going to get. This is an entire crapshoot.
It's the Russian roulette, except every slot's loaded.
But you're gonna get something useful, right? In some level, it has to be useful. And then Luis, the person who can only make explosions, summons a normal human being. Fine.
That can't even speak proper Tristan.
Fine. That's understandable for everybody to go, ha ha, look at her, she failed.
Right, exactly.
But here, she gets some kind of suit with materials nobody's ever seen, with a helmet with glass ice, which this is just another point that proves people know nothing about medieval history.
Fucking pane glass is like, holy shit.
Pane glass mounted in a helmet.
Yeah. That's like,
and here's the thing. If this had been a normal medieval society, people would go, that is a huge liability and I will never put that on my head. In a magic society, my first thought would be, that shit has to be magic as fuck.
Yeah.
For someone to risk putting glass, for someone to put something as expensive as glass,
not even expensive as glass. Something as expensive as pane glass.
Yes.
That's been colored red.
Pane glass that's been colored red that they wear over their eyes, that has to be the most magical glass in the universe. Literally.
Like, that is some fucking opulent level shit for a medieval setting.
Let alone a suit that no one has ever seen before, and most
That all
importantly,
magically resized itself too.
I was gonna say that's the most important thing. Nobody asked any questions when she managed to make a contract with it.
Yeah. So there's some fucky shit going on there, and the author is clearly unaware of it because obviously they went over this in a V2 idea setting where they're like, oh, well, I just got to make these chapters better. So they blatantly missed some of this here. Intentionally, probably not. They probably didn't even think of it because this is the sort of shit. This is why you have an editor. Because when you have an editor, the editor looks at this and goes, yeah, but why the fuck XYZ? I don't understand. And then the author goes, oh, well, XYZ because reason. And the editor's just like, yeah, you didn't fucking put the reason in, dumbass.
Or they go, or even when the editor goes, okay, but did you think about this super obvious thing? Shit. No.
And now, to be fair, sometimes the editor's like, what about the, ABC? And the author's like, no, I'm doing this on purpose. And the editor's just like, oh, okay. I
And
gave you
sometimes they have
my
a reason that's good.
recommendation.
Sometimes they have a reason that's bad.
And the headmaster grabbed the war mages. There's fuckery afoot, basically. So anyway, she's looking at the armor, and blah blah blah, blah blah blah. Why did it change to fit her? If it was magical, she should wear it.
Just a side note, another thing that's magical is shit for a medieval fantasy universe. It's armor with no seams.
That's no, less seams. It is armor that is
no. By that
not...
I mean it's one
right. It's
connected
one piece. Yeah.
But you can still just picking it up. You'd be able to. I mean, you wouldn't be able to flap it around, but you could easily get move it around and see someone getting 95% range of motion in it.
Maybe, but I would say
compare that to play.
Again, the whole magical aspect, she's finally going. Oh, it might be magical. It looks magical. It's definitely weird looking. It's like this is the sort of shit she maybe should have been thinking, earlier, back when everyone was making fun of her, because her first reaction would be to defend herself, even if it's a completely undefendable situation, because that's how she is. So then she would be like, oh, well, it's got, pane glass in its helmet. Clearly it's a very magical, and I could make a contract with it, so something. Like, even if it's not a correct reasoning, it would still be something she comes up with. But apparently Louise just sat there and was like, yup, I'm dumb. I have a suit of armor, herpadur. And now that she's in her room... You've been shilled, you're all welcome. Thank you, Birdie. And now that she's in her room and she's thrown a hissy fit, and now she's looking at the armor again for the 5th time, and she's going, wait a second, the armor shrank. It must be magical. I guess I should wear it then.
Well, no, she goes, is the armor magic or is the contract magic? Never once considering the implications of, I made a contract with a suit of armor.
Yeah.
It's especially annoying because they have things like golems and living armors in this universe.
Max?
Well, yes.
You were going to say something?
Well, apparently Birdie shilled us, but due to the way Void Mages work, she doesn't have a suitable familiar for the Gandalf rune. This world is fucked. This timeline is literally going to end. Because you need void magic to fix the problem specifically. Yep. You need the full power of all the familiars.
Well, I mean, could the armor have gotten the heart of God?
I think Julius was summoned around that time. Or Julio.
Julio is not the heart of God. Julio is the left hand of God? No.
Wait, that was the heart.
Also, they did say that they did mention something about the left hand, so the suit is going to be the left hand.
Oh,
Like if you scroll back up, something about the left hand flashing or something.
I forgot about that. That's right. Saito also carried the Heart of God runes because of Tefania.
Yes. Yeah, it's right hand, Heart of God, left
Forgot about
hand,
that.
and Mind of God. Mind of God let you use any artifact. Left hand of God let you interact with any creature. Right? That's what I'm thinking of.
I think so.
Right
'Cause,
hand of God let you
yeah,
use any
'cause he
weapon.
could talk.
And then
Yeah,
Heart
'cause,
of
he could talk
God
with his...
was a bomb.
Bob.
You go boom now.
the vast gulf of difference between these things. You can use any artifact. All right, I love my isekai powers.
That,
You can use any weapon. Oh yeah, best isekai powers ever. You can talk with animals
to
and
literally
command them.
anyone. Not that cool, but still pretty useful.
honestly, on the up, like, that's only like half of its power. The other half is like, oh, you can just amplify stuff at the cost of your own life. It's like, well, that's not so bad. Also,
And-
you're a ticking time bomb.
And
that?
then it's like you can talk with anyone, command animals and shit, and you're like, less cool than the other two, but I'll take it. And the fourth person's
Still a
like
win!
sitting there, like, well, what do I get? You're the Heart of God. Okay, that sounds cool. What do I get? Well, you have a massive mana pool that you can't use, and then you explode. What?
Pardon? Sneaky. It'll go straight to your thighs.
It'll go straight to your eyes. Yeah. I mean, I was thinking of more grow, expand, explode, but yeah, that works too.
I mean, yes. But come on, magically swole thighs.
God damn it. Now I'm just fucking imagining Saito with, like, the fucking bodybuilder steroid thighs, but the rest of his body is completely normal.
Completely normal Saito, absolutely.
But it's just the bulging, like, disturbingly disgusting thick thighs.
Yep.
Thigh Master Saito.
Oh, okay. Right hand of God controls animals.
Oh, so is it left hand of God that's the swords and shit?
Yeah, left hand was.
Anyway, the point is,
Yeah, Gandalfer was weapons in general. Left hand was any magical item, and the right hand was controlling animals.
Anyway. So, she fiddled with the suit and figured out how to take off the helmet and tried to look for a seam on the armor. And after some time spent, she found out that she could detach the silver spine, allowing her to get in the suit. It was at this moment she realized she wouldn't be able to wear the suit with a skirt. Yes. No shit. After taking her everything but undergarments off, she got into the suit. And then tested the flexibility of her armor and was shocked to find that she had full range of movement.
alright, at least the author knows enough to give them that.
Yeah. She felt so armored yet so maneuverable, especially when she compared it to her mother's troops. Some of them could hardly turn their body in their extremely heavy plate armor.
Alright, you know what? At least I'll give the author credit for that. If nothing else, this Louise, even if she never discovers anything else about it, she can go home and go, Mom, look, I got the most magical suit of armor. You can stab me and nothing happens.
She sighed before tossing the helmet back on the bed, opened the suit once more, and tucked her hair into it.
That's gotta be wicked uncomfortable. That's gotta pinch
that's not the best plan. Yeah,
like,
that's a lot of
do
fucking
they not
hair
have
too.
like a bun in this universe?
No, she has a fucking shit ton of hair.
Oh. That's gonna get really disgusting with the suit on.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Grabbing the helmet, she put it on. She could be heard attaching itself to the suit. New user updating interface. She looked around for the sound of the masculine voice. She felt pain shoot across her body. Pain overtook her. She felt on fire. Pain gasps. She adjusted. Oh God. Her pained gasp soon turned to heavy breathing as the pain passed, and with it came a wave of euphoric pure pleasure.
No, first of all, they worded it completely wrong. Like, it's not English.
Yeah, I know. It was as if she felt invulnerable to anyone and anything. She
I don't
soon
remember
adjusted to this
I don't remember
high.
the crisis suit doing that.
Yeah, I don't remember that. Will anyone kill me if I post a link? No, but you can't post a link. You literally, physically can't post a link in the chat.
Twitch won't let you. You can try to put it in Fic9K, but we might delete it if we don't like it very much.
Yeah, maybe we will. Maybe we won't. Turn off your auto mod. I wish we could. Anyway, so she soon adjusted to feeling horny and stood back up. Interface updated. Cannot properly seal suit, removing blockage.
Her hair's gone.
Alright, what have I missed?
Idiocy.
I'm unsure what this blockage might be. I am really hoping it's the hair.
Yeah, Sneaky. They mentioned it. It really needs to be the hair.
She didn't understand what the suit was talking about, but she didn't really care because she was so high.
Sorry, what?
Luis hit
The
some
suit's
of the
making
good.
her high. We're not kidding.
Luis had massive waves of pain, and now she's really horny and high.
We're not joking, by the way. He really isn't.
Yeah, I wish I was kidding. Her legs are buckling at the amount of pleasure she is feeling.
I'm pretty sure the suit just killed her then.
Wait, why do you think that?
Doesn't the suit actually inject you with things?
Yes.
That if you do, you can die?
Yes.
From the neurosis?
Yes.
Because your body literally can't handle the pain? I
Yes.
think she's dead. I think she's a zombie now.
She's a revenant now.
She's that nightmare scenario, so what do we do if the suit revives the dead person it killed? Oh, fuck.
You really hope it doesn't.
Welcome to Nanosuit 2 Electric Boogaloo by Crytek Industries.
She doesn't know what it means. There's a bunch of stuff she doesn't understand.
Blah, blah, blah. No signal,
like
whatever
this-
that meant. And it looked like a slit house of a female standing up.
Silhouette! Jesus.
What is he saying?
Did you just hear him butcher silhouette?
No, I didn't.
Be glad.
Out of the corner of her eye, she saw what looked like a white diamond appear at her window. Please make your way to the designated waypoint.
She's getting a tutorial.
She did as she was told and walked to the window. An image flashed on the glass in front of her eyes, and the voice spoke again. Suit override. The image of the courtyard began to magnify, much to the pink-haired girl's surprise. She had heard the triangle wind mages could do this, blah blah blah. Her armor could do this, and she began shaking from the excitement. No, I think she's shaking from the high she's currently on.
Yeah. I think she's shaking for the fact that she is high as a kite, my man.
Tactical visor engaged. Tactical visor allows for increased battlefield awareness. Honestly, I would just have like multiple modes on this suit, like army mode, marine mode, spec ops mode, testing
So
grunt
what?
mode.
One of the suits just chants "ooh rah" all day.
Yes, instead of like actually saying words, it just goes ooh rah, ooh rah, ooh rah until the Marine does something.
Waypoint pops up. Ooh rah, ooh rah, ooh rah. What am I supposed to do? Highlights someone. Ooh rah, ooh rah. What do you want from me?
So the only Marines can know.
Oh, Birdie is apparently going to do another prompt.
Oh, good for you. Anyway.
Dear humanity, we regret being alien bastards. Yes, that's a good line. Her mind came back to the present as her view changed, and then there's a bunch of text. Honestly, I think the most unbelievable aspect of this is the fact that she's capable of reading the text displays on the suit.
I mean, the suit's AI is sentient. She bonded with the suit.
Yeah, I know all that,
AI.
but
The suit should, in gaining
however,
knowledge of language, it would
but
have.
it doesn't.
But if it's the only way for it to communicate, I don't know, man.
You see, the light novels had
Shit, she's stuck in that suit now too.
yes.
Oh yeah, by the way.
Yeah, it's not coming off.
The light novels had Saito gaining the knowledge from the contract, while the manga and the anime had him gaining it from being exploded in the face. However, personally, I feel like the best way to work it, because I don't know, I just feel like this would be a better way to do it, is displays text. What are you displaying? I don't understand. Displays text in a different language. Still
Don't
nothing.
understand.
And then Luis goes, wait a second, can you read this? And she opens up a fucking book, and it's like processing, and then it starts doing it in her language.
Yeah, and then it starts getting it and getting it and getting it.
Yeah. Doesn't the nanosuit have Prophet just in the fucking suit taking over people's minds? Yes. This is nanotech too, though. Yeah.
It's the crisis suit.
But so Tristan, Magical Academy student, status friendly. I don't know why. Again, I don't know why the suit would know that, even if it got languages from the contract.
It certainly wouldn't know what a friendly is, like whether or not it's friendly.
That's 50-50, because it is possible the suit was passively online when she was surrounded by her peers and logged that they were not attacking her.
I mean, that's possible.
So you could edge that part, but it'd be more like unknown teenage human, status friendly.
Mm.
And then Luis goes, "Oh no, that's just one of
Brad.
That's just one of the academy students." And then it goes updating, and then changes, uniform located, academy student designation.
I'm sorry, did you see what Birdie posted in Fic 9K?
Oh god, what the fuck? Cha-cha slide in the armor. Yeah, I mean,
so fucking stupid.
Yes, it is dumb, but I mean, the armor was decently maneuverable. Like,
oh yeah,
and people give a lot of shit, like, oh, you just can't move and play. It's like, no, you could move and play. It was heavy.
Yeah, like, it's not that
Like,
it didn't have range of motion. It was just 50 or so pounds, if you were lucky.
I was gonna say, listen, you can move well enough in plate that if you need to wrestle someone, you can wrestle. You're not gonna be doing a high kick anytime soon, but
Well, I mean, not only that, wrestling typically is the last resort because that is the easiest way to kill someone in plate is to get them pinned to the ground and then you
I'm
take out
not
a knife
saying
and
you're
stab
wrong.
them.
I'm saying it's feasible.
Yes, but
Like
that's
one of the
why I
things people.
loved
That's one
Kingdom
of the
Come.
reasons
Oh
whenever
my
there's a
god, I love
fucking
Kingdom Come so much.
samurai versus an actual knight, the samurai will lose almost every time.
Katana does just jack shit versus plate.
Well, not just the katana. It's the fact that basically none of the samurai's weapons have a hope in hell of getting through plate without snapping like a twig.
No, the studded staff had a chance, but that's well, broadswords versus leather padding. You know. But anyway, also on top of that, knights were. I mean, you had your noble knights, but you're like mainline knights, the dudes that were basically elites that you spent all your money on because of how good they were at combat, and then you put a shit ton of armor on them, so they're basically really fucking hard to kill.
You see that man? That man has won 50 duels in a row, and he's only lost 2 fingers. Give that man plate mail.
But no, another interesting. I don't know how we can't really verify this, but I don't know how reliable this number is. But supposedly back in the days of swords and boards, you were considered a veteran if you survived 2 battles and killed 3 people.
Oh yeah.
That would not surprise me in the slightest if that was true.
Well, no, it's like, do you know what it takes to be an ace in military warfare?
5 kills, I think.
5.
Yeah.
5 kills. That's it.
I feel like once the knight pulls out a morning star, the samurai would be dead.
Not really. The Morning Star's not that great a weapon.
Eh.
Now, if it was just a plain old mace, maybe.
Greetings,
Oh.
sir. I am an individual that is trained to fight for long periods of time in exceedingly heavy armor. Here is my giant piece of steel.
But yeah, no, like the Morning Star really isn't that great. An actual proper mace or like, God forbid, a war pick. Like, listen, I know people think the war pick is a joke. It's not.
The war pick is not a joke.
You do not fuck around with a war pick, guys.
But
Yeah, that
Or God forbid, imagine a samurai he's riding into battle with his no dachi or his damn it, what's their spear thing? Naginata.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's just an armored knight with a fucking halberd.
Well, I mean,
Or some prick walks up with a rapier.
No, an armored knight would not have a rapier.
I think he's talking about
I didn't say
fighting
he was
the knight.
armored. I just said some prick walks up with a rapier.
I mean,
Rapiers were
yes.
banned in Japan for a short time because they were too good at stabbing.
I'm sorry. You what?
Yeah, see, the thing is with Japanese armor. Yeah, the thing is with Japanese armor and weapons is that
it was all designed around cutting.
Yeah, it was all designed around cutting and slashing. It's because piercing was only with like spears, basically, and I guess they were just like, fuck spears. Even though they made heavy usage of spears, they were just like, fuck spears. Meanwhile, the Europeans, the educated Europeans were like, well, yeah, the cutting and slashing is cool and all, but what if we just did all 4 damage types?
Guys, what if we made a sword that was so big we had to reduce the amount of stab it can do, the amount of slash it can do, so you can actually swing it?
It does blunt damage now, too. Also,
that wasn't even that wasn't even reducing the weight. That was just like, it's really not worth making this cutting.
At
It
this
literally
point,
wasn't
just
worth the
swing it. That's actually why I love that axe I had back at home. It was literally it's a wedge axe where it doesn't have doesn't
Oh,
rely on a
no.
cutting edge. It's
Oh, yeah.
just a wedge that you just swing really hard, and because it's shaped like a wedge and it's heavy, it's just like, well, whatever I'm hitting is no longer one thing.
Yeah. Um, or like when they, when they invented half sorting, which is if I ever have to fight another dude in armor and I've lost my mace
The
or my
Mordhau
war
technique.
pick or whatever it is, I need a way to beat him to death. I'll hold my sword the other way.
The Mordhau technique, yes.
Bam! Bam!
And that is that's another
That-
influence
that-
on the guards
Yeah,
of the swords. Yeah.
That was one of the things that was interesting about For Honor. It's like, yeah, no, we did a lot of research in sword fighting. Turned out, this was a viable tactic.
Yes. Yeah.
And so
Oh.
they mixed it into his normal moveset, and I was like, that's great, because that's exactly how it was used.
Yeah. Although I will say it's funny that one of the first times I ever saw anything related to the half sorting was actually the Rurouni Kenshin manga.
Really.
Yeah, because one of the, a returning rival of sorts uses two short katanas
Mm-hmm.
as his fighting style. And when he first shows up, he's only using the one, and Kenshin's like, I literally can't keep up with your speed. Hang on, and he just grips the dull end of his blade. It's like, all right, my sword's about the same length as yours now. Let's go.
Oh,
Of course, it's cutting into his palm the entire time, so his grip is slightly fucked up with the blood leaking and whatnot.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
that's why
it-
you wore the heavy plate and leather chain
That-
gloves. So
Oh
you,
yeah, I
you
know, but
didn't
that was
do
one of,
that.
that was one of the things where it's like, I wonder if the author took inspiration from this. When I found out that was an actual tactic with European sword fighting, I was like, I wonder if he got it from this. When I found out years later,
Yeah. Europeans got real good at killing each other.
well, no. Let's be fair. Let's be fair. It wasn't just the Euro. It was the fact that the Europeans all lived really, really close to each other and really, really hated each other, and they were really creative at finding ways to not die. So they'd be really creative at finding ways to make them die.
oh my god,
What? Also limited
I'm
resources.
I'm sorry, I'm watching someone be like, this Atelier game looks like shit because it's a city sim game. It's not a good RPG. It's like, because it's a Sims, it's a city simulator, you dumbass.
This city sim is a shitty RPG. Yeah.
He's like, no, he's like, it looks like a shitty mobile game, and it's like, oh my god, this is what Clash of Clans has done. It has ruined the city simulator
Yes.
genre as a whole
It has.
because the 90s and early 2000s were chock full of city simulators.
I gotta say, I actually do love cities. What's it called now? Cities
Skylines?
Skylines. Is that it? Is that the most recent one?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Side
Cities
note.
Skylines. Yeah. I mean,
He's
I
like, does
do
this
love
not
that.
give? Oh my god, he's like, does this not give you mobile vibes? Like, the difference is I can cheat on this if I get bored, and there's no
Um,
shitty energy bar.
Oh.
Side note: apparently, half sorting was also called a thunderstroke.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
I'm gonna look this up. Thunderstroke.
Yep.
Oh no, Max! No.
No, I'm just kidding,
No.
engine.
Yeah, no, if you guys want to see me play City Skylines, I can do that at some point, maybe tomorrow. Or something.
It involves both hands gripping the blade and hitting the opponent with the pommel or crossguard. Like reading a Wikipedia article of this
I'm
sounds
sorry.
so boring compared
I'm
to
sorry,
how metal it is.
Do you want to know what it was referred to in German fencing? Grabbing it by the blade and using the hilt as bludgeon. Do you know what it was called in German fencing?
What?
Wow.
Murder strike.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yes.
That's what Mordhau is.
Yeah, Mordhau. Yeah, that's because the blade is dulled in fencing, except for the very point of it. And,
well, that and the fact that
I-
it doesn't matter how blunt your sword is if you're using it to stove the other guy's
so
head in.
you just grab your dull sword, you just beat the shit out of someone with it.
It doesn't matter if I'm not supposed to be able to kill you in the middle of this duel if I smash my pommel through your eye.
Yes, one of my top clips is actually from a stream of me doing City Skylines, when the game's tutorial popped off at the worst fucking moment in existence, where I had an earthquake cut through my developing neighborhood.
I think I saw that clip.
Yeah, cut through my developing neighborhood and flood my entire city because it also hit the river. And then the tutorial pops up just at that moment going, you can now make canals. And it's like, oh my god. The moment.
It's like, that's not okay, game.
The timing is just like, wow. Big oof, K game. Anyway, so the visor suit functions allows you to observe from safe distance. And blah 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 cannon, blah blah nanovision engage. And then the world turned gray. And nanovision allows one to see in dark place and highlight thermal signatures. This got her wondering again. Seeing someone's heat wasn't new, but reserved for fire mages. Was this suit capable of fire magic? How do I turn this off? The suit uses neural interface. Apparently she knows what neural means.
She wouldn't, but okay.
She thought about turning off nanovision, and then it did. And then she went over to the bow, and she was like, wow, this is an odd bow, and it has a pulley system in the bow. Also, it's orange, because reasons.
Okay.
Of course it's noise. Yeah, blah, 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 blah.
What are the reasons?
The reasons are, because, yes. As far as I know, the real world reasons for why the bows are the bowstrings are green and orange, it's because it's nylon plastics or whatever, and they want to like distinguish it or something. I don't fucking know. They color it on purpose to like show off that it's not a normal bowstring, maybe.
I'm sorry. I'm watching this over in the salt mines. This is amazing.
What? Oh, your idiot friend.
Okay, because he's still like, but it looks so bad. And the guy who's looking at buying the game because he wants a nice, relaxing game that he could just go back to whenever. You can't do that with RPGs usually, because I took a 2-month break from Final Fantasy VII.
What am I doing here?
Where the fuck am I going? Where am I going?
What is my plan? Why is my inventory filled with salt?
Yeah, versus, I came back to Skylines after 2 months. What was I doing? Oh yeah, I did that, and that. Oh, I do have the money for that thing I wanted.
Why did I quit Skylines again? Loads up save. Half city is on fire. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. For some reason, the other guy's getting upset at this game because like it doesn't have the good mechanics that LA is known for. I'm like, but it's not an RPG. It's very clearly not an RPG. It's an Atelier game, but they clearly.
Why does my city not have the stats? Where is my city's dexterity, Max?
Sneaky.
Why can't my city dodge roll?
Okay, Sneaky. Do you want to do an asset flip where it's a city simulator RPG where your city gains stats and you have to go
gotta fight other cities?
You have to fight. No, okay, guys, you make it one of those. You make it like a dungeon simulator, like you're putting down the buildings and you're getting minions and stuff. But then you're just fighting other cities. Modern day.
Yeah, it just
like
or maybe like you build the city and then it turns into a controllable character, and maybe if you built the industrial wing it makes your arm into a cannon, and you fire heat or some shit.
It's like, oh no, we're low on resources. Quick, detach the barracks division. Why? Because it needs to go raiding. Sorry?
The dumbest shit ever. You know what the worst part is? It would probably still make money.
Make it shitposty enough and we will.
You build a firefighter building plus 1 con.
Alright, you know what? I kind of want to do this now. Like,
It's
I
an
know I have enough assets
RPG
for
city
this.
sim. You must.
I know I have enough assets in RPG Maker to do this.
But the question is, should you? The answer is no, you shouldn't, but you will anyway.
I could probably make like a 30-minute demo in 2 weeks.
The real trick will be to get people to do it in something other than RPG Maker. Don't take that the wrong way. By
Just
the way.
get it greenlit and put it on
Fuck
Steam
you,
as an
I'm gonna
early
roll it on
access
Unity
game.
Now it's gonna be a fucking Android app for like 50 cents.
Yeah,
You did this, Atin.
just do it. Just do it, Max. Get an RPG Maker. Fucking put out an early access demo. Slap it on every app store in Steam's early access program, and just leave it in alpha forever and rake in money.
Oh, that's right. Potatoes is a coder, isn't he?
Oh lord, no! Don't fall for it.
Do it, potatoes. Do it. We shall make the money.
I will go in like 60-40 on this. Or not even that, I'll go 50-50 in with this.
I demand a 3% royalty.
I mean, I guess we could always use a narrator.
Oh my god, yes.
It's even got voice acting. Bad voice acting, but it's
Oh,
got
no.
voice acting.
He has a bachelor's in CS, but it's been a while since he coded. Oh dear.
Excellent. It's been a while since anything. I mean, honestly, it can't be worse than Far Cry 5, so...
Far Cry 5 was fun with a friend. But boy, I hate that I got invested in that story.
Yeah.
I wanted my 40 hours back.
Better than Far Cry New Dawn.
I haven't even touched it. I have no desire to play it because Far Cry 5 is just like, oh great, you killed any new game you come out with for me now. What's the best way to handle a story that's based around making choices, not letting you have an actual choice? Oh, okay.
Also, everyone's bullet sponges and they have fucking health bars and levels.
That's in New Dawn.
That's
They
what I'm
added
talking
that
about,
specifically for that. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, that is also what made me cancel a pre-order that I had on the new Wolfenstein. I was like, oh, this will be fun to play
Oh,
with Sneaky, because
no.
it came with
no.
it came with a pass. I'm like, listen,
Yeah,
just sit.
I know. I was just I saw that and
I
I was like, oh.
I was so interested. I was like, oh yeah, sure.
Mm.
And then the reviews came in the day before. It's like, yeah, so they put RPG elements in. What's that mean? Well, enemies are just bullet sponges now. And refund it.
Oh god, new blood was it? Young blood?
New blood, I think.
Oh, that was so fucking cringe.
Honestly, the worst part is it's like I did watch gameplay, I did watch some stories like, well, his daughters are actually like if you told me these were BJ's kids, I would believe you. Unfortunately, they're stuck in a kind of a bad game. Oh, it is Young Blood. Okay. Was New Blood what was New Blood? It was a DLC, wasn't it?
Probably. Anyway.
But yeah. Oh,
Alright, so the armor informed her that the bow in her hands was a predator bow, had long range precision, and that it was noiseless. And she's like, "Well,
Of
no
course
shit."
it's noiseless. It's a bow.
That's what she says. She scoffed.
Yeah, I
of
know.
course, it's noiseless. It's a bow. You know what will stealthily take this outpost, Max? Sneaky, do
I
not
see
use
this.
explosives. Explosives!
and then Then there was the, hey, Sneaky, the explosives worked. Let me try something. We just flew up and just started China Lake an entire.
Wait a second,
like
Max. We can only use hand. We can only use. What was it? You only use sidearms or something. Wait, Max. There's a sidearm grenade launcher. Yeah.
And we found out that because of how high, we found out that one, the
The
grenades
AI didn't
properly
have
arc,
code for that.
and they explode on contact. They're not timed. And two, the grenades shoot farther than detection range.
It was so fucking dumb.
But it was so fun.
Oh god, that Far Cry 4 was a game.
Far Cry 4 was so much fun. And Far Cry, it was also one of those things where it's like, wow, I like Raj a lot more than I liked.
And that poor guy we beat to death with meat. The bait?
We didn't beat him to death. We just kept throwing steak, and eventually I think a bear came and fucked his shit up.
Oh.
I think we found out you could stun people because it was like throwing a rock at
Yeah.
them.
It stunned them.
But then a predator came in and
Just
wrecked
ate
his
'em.
shit. It's like, oh, we should just walk away from
What
this.
happens if we just keep throwing bait? Throws bait, looks behind us, there's like a corpse pile of like 50 fucking bears. Oops. I think we're on like watch lists now. We are officially poachers.
Is it poaching if you're getting the animal to kill a human?
Well, no, because you know the typical Far Cry 3 upgrade tree where you had to like collect five bear pellets to upgrade explosives into explosives too. You could carry more explosives. And obviously, we were like, well, yeah, we want more explosives, so we went around killing a bunch of animals by summoning them with bait. And there was just a moment, though, of where we got on top of this hill because we just kept moving forward because we kept throwing the bait forward, where I looked behind us, and it was just a fucking field of dead bears. And I was just like,
because we kept getting bait from the bears.
Yeah. I was just like,
And then there was Sneaky. There was the time that we were like, Sneaky, we need to hunt some snow leopards. Get the bait.
Get the bait. Get the bat bait.
We found a snowy hillside. It just on the mountain and just started throwing bait and hunting the snow leopards that way. It was
This is not how you're supposed to play the game.
That game was interesting. Did we ever finish the Yeti DLC?
Yes.
I don't remember how it ended.
It was disappointing.
I remember
No,
the atmosphere was actually super well done, and it was
remember we beat it because then we moved on to the next DLC, which was the time trials, and then we were like, wow, time trials. Oh, it's really dumb. Oh,
time trials kind of suck in this game. I just don't remember how it ended though. I don't know why.
I don't either.
The end of that DLC is blanked from my mind. I don't know why.
Apparently, it's forbidden knowledge.
I remember having a shit ton of fun in it.
It was okay, yeah.
Didn't we become Yetis at the end of it? Wasn't that the end? We were the Yetis?
I think it, yeah.
Anyway, we have a terrible story to finish.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, and it's almost over too. So she tried to pull back on the bow, and she was like, "Wow, this is super easy. I guess the armor's making me strong." And then she realized.
Yeah, no, that is what happened. We become the Yeti for some reason.
Yeah.
Why didn't I get to play as a Yeti in the main story? Now I'm pissed.
I think that was what our complaint was, that like nothing.
Let me play as it.
Yeah.
You gave me this, now let me play.
But anyway, so Kirchi opens the door and she goes, "Oh wow, I knew it was a golem. What do you want, Zerbest?" Blah 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 blah. Luis,
It's not
can
a
you get
goal.
your
Get your
golem to let
goal
me
up,
pass?
please.
It's me.
Hair jokes.
Raising their helmet. Oh, so it was the hair. Raising her hands to her helmet, Louise gave a twist, pulling it off. She began chuckling before bringing both of her hands to her mouth. She's laughing at the hair. She stared at her, confused, attempting to reach back for hair, only to look in horror when she couldn't feel hair. Turning away from Kirchi, she rushed over to the mirror. Her waist-length hair was now only barely reaching the top of her neck. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of waist-length hair. Not...
I think it's weird.
I'm not too... I just feel like it's a lot of care, a lot of time wasted on that. It's just... Also, the pixie cut is definitely more of my preference in terms of on other people.
So we've heard.
Yes. Waist length hair is more trouble than it's worth. Yeah, it's not really worth anything, so it's inevitably going to be more trouble than it's worth.
Depends on the person. Some people are proud of their hair.
I've
Yeah, I
seen
guess.
people with it, and I was like, isn't that just a shit ton of work? They're like, oh my god, yes, it's so much. Like, how much time? How long does it take you to care for that? They're like, it is a day.
That's
Like, I'm sure they were exaggerating a little bit, but like, they can't have been exaggerating that much.
yeah. Anyway, so stupid, blasted, familiar suit. Do you know how long I had to let my hair grow to get that long? It's not so bad, Luis. You look like a pink-haired Tabitha. It was 10 years, I'll have you know. 10 years of grooming my hair to be like my mother's.
I'd like to ask where the suit put the hair.
It put it the same place it puts the poo and the pee. In the balls. What are you doing here, Germanian cow? If I was interested in familiar summoned, I have a very powerful familiar. Yeah, this is the best familiar. Everyone will tell you it is. If you say so, Luis, let me know when your suit becomes more
I have a
pressed.
great familiar. I have the best familiar.
Yeah, apparently Luis was like channeling Trump a little bit right there.
The familiar of Trump?
The familiar of Trump. Now that would be a fucking story. As part of ascending to the presidency, they have to summon a familiar.
He just summons a wall. Just a wall.
No, Max, he summons a guy from Dark Souls. Doing a wall
Tarkus?
build.
Oh, that too, I guess.
Wall builds are so fucking fun for PvP. Not so much for PvE, but PvP, oh hell yeah.
Anyway.
Yep. God damn it, Max. Now
What?
you reminded me of the time that traumatized Atin and I. Oh good, he's at low health. Oh no, he's going into disco mode. Oh, it's worse.
Oh god.
Are you glad Madeir's completely optional?
Fuck that boss.
For the people who don't know, we somehow got Dark Eater Meteor stuck in a loop where all he did was the laser.
Oh my god, it was just like, hey, what if everything laser?
Neither of us was on like
and he also
amazing
managed-
computers at the time, but we weren't on bad computers. We were getting 60 frames easy, and it kept going for so long that we both started chugging and dropping frames.
It was...
Yeah.
Oh, it was
I'm
bad.
looking forward to getting to that fight.
We finally ended up killing Meteor with Pestilent Mercury.
Oh my... Fucking
Like I said,
poison.
I'm looking forward to that fight at and you having to do it the legit big boy way.
Oh god.
No, Max, come on, we did 500 attempts! 500 attempts, Max!
I know, you guys were also in New Game +4, I think you told
6.
me.
No,
your
it was so
fault.
much worse than that. It was what, 5 and 6, Sneaky?
Yeah, it
okay,
was 5
listen,
and 6.
I'm gonna give you this. I don't like. There are very few FromSoft bosses where it's like, all right, people I'm playing with, I'm not summoning you. I'm going in with no armor and my heaviest hitting weapon. See you in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I did that. I beat Medea within 4 attempts after that.
Well, it's like Sneaky and I got to the point where I was I was naked with literally
We were
just
both
the dark
naked.
sword. We
Yeah.
were both naked. I had a dark sword and the dragon head great shield.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that fight for me was one of those like, all right, I cannot play with you guys. I have to be able to control this AI, and I need to see exactly where he's aiming. So I will get back to you
Oh,
in
he's
20
leaping up. He's
minutes.
coming towards your head. No, he's not. Oh shit.
He fucking juked Sneaky.
The
The
worst
best
part
part
is
was we
that
knew
because
he was optional. We knew he was optional, but we were both just like, we're not done.
oh yeah, here's the thing. You know he's optional because he's hidden.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, I know you're optional, but I'm not a bitch. So this is how it's gonna go.
Well, it's and like the first time we fought, I was so mad. So we went and fought the Church Guardian for Sneaky,
Yes.
and we got a dumbass who died in like 5 hits
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
because he just stood there and ate the chaos fireballs.
Ooh.
We had to make 14 attempts because we kept getting people like found out that there was a PvP boss, and they were like, my time has come.
Oh, I both Atin and I signed up for it, and we're just like, all right, equip dual great swords, pyromancies, check. Let's do this. Let us ruin some people's lives.
Yes. Remember the like 3 days that the dual great swords were unpatched and PvP was nothing but dual great swords, and it was
Oh.
fantastic to look at.
Oh, it
You
was
know what my
absolute
favorite thing
cancer.
about dual greatswords was? Even when it got patched due to my build, I didn't care.
That's true. It's still the best thing in the game.
Like,
I still remember when we found that. I walk over, I pick up an item, and I was like, Sneaky, this is the greatest item they've ever put in the game. And he's like, oh, come on, it can't be that great. You're full of shit. It's dual great swords.
They're fucking what? What
And then
thing?
I
This
equipped
thing
them.
has a
I equipped
special.
them.
Uses special. Fucking what? This is a combo?
oh, yeah.
And then when you're using both, it's like, boom.
By the way,
It's the
did we mention
stupidest
the
thing.
obscene amounts of hyper armor?
Oh god, there was so... Honestly, I still think I had the most fun with what's his face sword? The Red Slave Knight? Gale.
Gales. Oh,
Yeah,
Gales.
Gale's sword is the biggest fuck you to people in PvP because it's just like time for erratic movement times fuck you.
Also, I've got hyper armor through every frame of this bullshit.
Also, by the way, all of my shit regenerates mana, so we're gonna be here for a while.
Yeah.
Wolfring ahoy.
Anyway, so Luis goes and does stuff, and she sees the grayscale, and
Blah blah blah.
she pulls back on the bow, and she's like, "Wow, it's giving me some sort of like estimated
By the way, I'd like to point
landing
out
range."
this would never work because she's using normal people arrows, which would not actually live.
No, I think. No, I think she's using the nano arrow. Oh wait, no,
No,
she
nope.
did. Yeah, she grabbed some
She's
practice.
got normal
That is-
arrows, which would just
Anyway, so she figured out that it gives her a targeting reticle, and she realized that she's really good with this targeting reticle, basically telling her where the arrow is gonna land. And then Nanosuit's like energy critical, and it just screamed at her. And Energy was depleted and was now recharging. Contempt when it reached 70%. Luis reactivated nanovision. Grayscale. She looked for the arrowhead. Soon shifted to what appeared to be a raven-haired maid sitting on her rear, holding at her chest with a
holding her chest with a single hand in an attempt to slow her breathing.
slower breathing. Are you okay? And then the maid looked at her and said, "Grandfather." Oh, boy, do I love Familiar of Zero Fix, where they always make siesta. Like, to be fair, there is a couple of fix that I really do enjoy where they do this, but it is such a tired cliche, because it's like siesta is always from Person Summons World.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
It's like, guys, that made sense once.
And it's like, maybe if you're gonna do, because one of the ones I'm reading is a Skyrim called To Teach a Zero.
Yeah, side note, Sneaky, are you gonna try that mod?
It's not out, dude.
I thought it was. I thought he said it was pretty much done.
Yeah, it's pretty much done, but he won't release it because he doesn't own the code for it, because it uses the code of Universal Combat or something, Unlimited Combat or whatever.
Yeah. Well, if that guy doesn't approve the mod, he's just an asshole.
Yeah. When did this happen in canon? What do you mean, when did this happen in canon? Siesta has always been from
Earth.
That was the thing, like, we found out in the Dragon's Raiment arc. But anyway. It is to teach a zero. Specifically, the reason why siesta is from Nern instead of Earth is because the way it's being phrased in terms of how magic still exists, how the Magica, I should say, still exists, even though he's not on Tamriel or Nern in general, is that the Familiar of Zero world is a discarded plane of Aedra. Like, the Aedra made the world, we're like, nah, fuck it, and just kind of let it drift in the planes, and then moved on to Nern. So it's more or less a plane of oblivion, but not actually, like, Daedric. It's okay. Dragon's what now arc? I'm not Isley. I told you already. If you don't know, then you don't know. I'm not gonna bother. Anyway, blah blah. No, not your grandfather. True slime mistress mistaking you for someone else. Good night, and she ran away. He picked up the arrow, yanking it out of the wall. The arrow was misshapen due to the stone it impacted. It'd be a little bit more than misshapen. Anyway, she went to her room. There's many things, but rude was not one of them, so she put her bow away and took her helmet off. She really liked the way her suit looked on her. And she
That's the drugs making you feel good, Taylor.
She looked super toned and buff, and blah blah blah, blah blah. Blah blah. She reaching for the spine on her back. She filled it with the spine. She suddenly felt several things get pulled out of her back. It felt weird, as if someone was pulling on her spine. And then she felt dizzy as hell. And yeah, it's because the suit was like jacking you with drugs to keep you going.
Also, that suit's not supposed to come off.
Yeah, well, it did. So.
Don't worry, they fixed it.
Well, no, let's be clear. It's not that it couldn't come off, it's that it wasn't supposed to.
Oh yeah, no, well, no, it literally couldn't because they couldn't figure out a way to get all the cool stuff in there.
I mean, yeah.
From what I remember, it's like, we'd love to make this so you could actually just pop in and out of the suit, but that is physically impossible with our
Okay,
technology.
so
right now.
final verdict for this story is
Eh.
Eh.
Meh.
Probably could have been handled better.
Could have been handled way better. It had some really awkward turns of phrase, some really awkward pacing where it was like talking
Yeah.
about the suit and then we're talking about the helmet, and then it was like, but actually the suit again. And it's like, well, why didn't you just say that when you were talking about the suit earlier? There were some weird moments where it was sort of out of order in terms of reaction, where it's like, Louise thinks it's just a dumb suit, and then she's like, wait a second, it's not a dumb suit. Several hours later, it's like, oh, okay. I guess.
Yeah.
Question mark.
Honestly, this probably would have been a lot more entertaining if it was like, oh, Bishop has been summoned.
I mean, I'm sort of fine with the suit being summoned and it's Luis doing all this, but the split between the
Here's
whole.
the problem. That suit isn't nearly sentient enough to qualify.
Yes, I'll give you
Like,
that
it's
much.
it's not a fully like. You would need something much, much, much more self-aware, like the New Vegas suit,
Mhm,
or
mhm.
you could argue a suit of Mjolnir armor with Cortana in it.
That would be something. But no,
Because
I
remember
understand what you're
the
saying with
most
it.
infamous line from Halo. Your suit's architecture isn't that different from the Autumn's. Do not.
Do not. Yeah. Uh Honestly, I think the sections where the suit was like trying to display information to her were probably the most cringiest parts of the chapter itself, because there's a lot of information assumption going on on the author's part, not on the character's part. Like, why does the suit know they're from Tristane and part of the academy?
Why does it know they're non-hostile?
Yeah, it's really only one fix seems weak. I mean, we are at the 9 hour mark. We can keep going, but we're probably gonna lose both Atin and Max.
Yeah, I'm done. Like, I got food, motherfuckers.
We got distracted. It happens, you know. Maybe on Friday we'll do it. Maybe a bit longer. Maybe we'll read some more.
I'm sorry. I love that. Only one fix seems weak. I'm pretty sure we have at least a couple of streams where we managed to cover not even one fix.
Indeed.
You could cover a fic of 80 words. I don't think I even have anything of that. Us getting distracted is the norm. Yes, it is. I mean, look, what was it? A week ago, we got like 3 fics in.
Yeah, something like that.
You know,
By the way,
sometimes
Max,
the
I have a
story.
shit post for you.
Sometimes the stories we cover are not compelling enough to either read them to see where it goes because it's so cringy, or because it's actually surprisingly good, or alternatively, pretty much, actually, no, never mind. No,
I would
alternatively,
say
that's
this is
pretty
pretty
much
much
just
the
it.
worst kind of story in that it's not good enough for us to like actively want to care about it and read, but it's not bad enough for us to have easy material to mock.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I give it at best like maybe a 6 out of 10. It's got some okay parts in it, some interesting handling of certain things, but there's so much that's very hand waved that doesn't even need to be hand waved. It's not like, oh, I need to hand wave this part because it would be too complicated to do X Y Z. It's like, no, literally you can just have it look at a book or some shit, have Luis interact with it to make it, do outganking characters, and you can extend your scenes by doing like actual character interaction instead of Luis being just like, "Oh, I am in suit. Oh, I am looking at thing. Oh, there's some cannon for me. Gotta squeeze that cannon into all this not canon stuff." And then and then the chapter's over. It's like, oh, okay, all right. Not really hooking me there, author. The worst story to review is a story that is just okay. Yeah, that is this story. It's just okay. It doesn't. There's no grievous errors in here that would make me be like, "Fuck this story! I'm dropping it." If I had picked this up on my own, I probably, if I had picked this up on my own, I might have read maybe a couple more chapters to see if there was anything that made me drop it. If there was something that finally caught my interest, I would probably keep reading it. Because there's nothing grossly offensive in the first chapter in terms of just plot or characters, depictions, interactions. It was just, well, okay, it exists. It's not bad. It's not good. It's there. Perfectly balanced. I would not say perfect. I would not use the word perfect. In any form of the word.
I would just say
Considering the story.
it's more like that stupid. Here's the thing, right? The state this story is at is actually a state we've seen many times. It's like that Mr. Burns meme where he's like, like all the diseases are fighting to get in at once, so I'm invincible. Ha 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 ha! I'm invincible, and the doctor, no, actually, at any time you could die immediately. He walks out chanting, "I'm invincible." That's this story, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
At
pretty much.
any
Yeah.
point, any of the author's minor failings can drive this story off a cliff.
Yeah. And it hasn't yet in the first chapter, and the author apparently recognized.
But until it does, there's nothing for us to be mad about.
Yeah, more or
Because
less.
it's just
Okay.
mediocre.
But you know what? Maybe Friday will bring better tides, and of course, I can personally go longer if it's on a Friday because I don't have work the next day, unlike today, which I do. But with all of that being said and done, I will see you all on Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Not much else to say besides there's always more and it always gets worse.